Dear Ma, I reckon I owe you an explanation, and this here is it. The first thing I want to say is that you weren't never bad Ma and Pa weren't never bad Pa. You was the best Ma and Pa any girl ever had, and you taught me wrong from right, and I knew full well what I done was wrong, and I done it anyway. Me myself, I done it, nothing to do with you folk. I knew what I was doing and I went right ahead and done it. I've kept quiet me on 2 years and that's nothing cause of I was afraid of what Pa and you would say and what other folks would say. Along with everything else, I am a coward. So, here's the truth. Tell the truth and shame the devil you used to say when I was little and you was right. I reckon you knew all along that Billy Joe and me had something going on. Everybody else round here knew, so why wouldn't you know? You and Pa never thought much of Billy Joe. Pa's he never had a lick of sense, and maybe that was true, but he weren't no retard. Billy Joe worked that farm his pop gave him up on Tallahatchie Ridge with just his own hands from he was 14 years old, and always grew enough to get by, even though the land up there was never even near as good as what we got. And he could read and write and do his numbers use as good as the next person, only he was kind of soft and not much good at looking out for himself. Weren't no bad bone in Billy Joe's body. He always treated me real nice and respectful, even after had sleep with me few tins. Sorry for talking plain, but I reckon this ain't no time to mince words. I know you remember that time 2 summers back when Billy Joe jumped off the Tallahatchie Bridge. Folks thought he'd gone a bit crazy. Well, maybe he had, but there was reasons why he'd gone that way. Most things happen for a reason. I don't need to remind you either that ever since that day, things has gone real bad for this family. Pa got that virus and passed away, and Brother Ned married Becky Thompson and bought that no-good hardware store in Tupelo, and their marriages down near on the rocks already. And the crops near failed 2 seasons in a row. And I know you've been pinning since Pa passed away and letting things get on top of you. Ain't nothing at'll went right for this family ever since that day. I've had no heart and nothing myself either. I ain't hardly slept since then with nightmares, and ain't hardly at either, and just been feeling terrible all the time. All I want to do is wander around on Tallahatchie Ridge, maybe say a few prayers, pick a few flowers. A right pair the 2 of us was. It's a wonder anything at'll got doing on the farm last couple years. Well, now it's time for me to do a bit of unburdening, and I'm real sorry that I have to upset you like this, but I reckon things can't get no worse anyhow, and it's likely better this whole thing is out in the open, at least no secrets between you and me. Old Doc Ransom used to say there was a deal of folks' secrets had be carrying with him to the grave. Carrying secrets ain't easy, and I'm not strong enough to do it no more. Do you remember a few months before Billy Joe died, his sister Charlene had a big bust up with their dad and got thrown out of the house because she was going to have a baby? I'm sure you do. Folks talked about it a lot. Well, Billy Joe and me was seeing one another at the time, and I was working in Anarene at the Four-Eyed Jack. So I agreed to do Charlene and Billy Joe a favor. Charlene wanted to let her mom know she was okay, only she didn't want either of them to know where she was. So what happened was she holed up with her brother in T. He chucked to Ridge Farm and pretended to her pa that she'd found a rooming house and a job in Anarene. She wrote her mom some letters and I posted them in Anarene, and the return address was the plaza one of the other girls lived in Anarene. So I got the letters from Charlene's mom and passed them on to Charlene. Anytime her pa visited Billy Joe at Tallahatchie Ridge, she hid out in the barn or someplace so that he wouldn't see her. It only happened a couple times. Everybody thought she was in Anarene, but she was with Billy Joe all the time. She told her mom she'd moved to Anarene cause it was a big town with more than 2,000 people in it, so nobody would know her there. It was a pretty smart story. I told Billy Joe he ought get her a doctor or something, cause a girl can't just give birth to a baby like a mare drops a foal. In fact, even that can be pretty scary and risky. But Charlene didn't want nobody else around, not even me really. I think it took me a long time to work out why. Turns out the reason Charlene and Billy Joe didn't want nobody else involved was Charlene reckoned the baby was Billy Joe's child, and that was an awful sin, and they could never hold their heads up aging. If it got out, and if their pop found out, he would like as not kill the two of them. I was a mite shook when Billy Joe told me about that, and I hardly even believed him, and am not sure I believe him and Charlene even yet. Anyhow, he said the two of them used it to fool around from when they was kids, and used it to creep into each other's bedrooms. Their folks caught them a couple times, but didn't know how far it had got to. I reckon that's why his pa bought him the farm on Tallahatchie Ridge, to get him out the house and away from Charlene. I don't really know how Charlene McAllister could even tell whose kid it was, cause everybody in school knew she'd tried out more boys than the Integers football club. But she still was likely his, and sure enough, when I saw that baby, I reckoned she was more unlikely. Right. It was one ugly little critter with a screwed-up face, and it hardly moved and didn't cry at all even once. That child weren't right. Like when Stenny had the 5 pups and one was small and weak and had to be drowned. I wasn't there when Charlene had her kid, cause it come a bit sooner than we was expecting, and Billy Joe was on his own with her, and I reckon he panicked a bit. Charlene was in an awful state, screaming enough to wake the dead when the baby finally come, and there was blood all over the place, even hit the ceiling. Billy Jost. He cut the cord with his hunting knife, cause had heard you was supposed to do that. But the blood just kept coming and coming, and he can't find no way to stop it, and Charlene just lost all her strength, and was dead inside of about half an hour. The day after, he buried her someplace up there, and he never told me where, and I never asked. He'd burnt all the bedding, and the maters and him and me tried to clean the blood off the room best we could. Well, you can imagine how Billy Joe felt, cause he was a real gentle soul, and he loved his sister more than anybody else I ever knew. He was dibbering like a madman, saying how he'd caught Charlene with that hunting knife, and how he was fixing to use it on himself. It was crazy talk. The way I saw it, even Doc Ransom couldn't have saved Charlene. Her insides must have been tore up pretty bad. Well, I had feelings for Billy Joe like ice, and I tried to do the best I could to make him feel better. That tiny kid was near dead. She was hardly moving, and her breathing sounded a fool. I told Billy Joe there weren't no point trying to do nothing for her. Most kind thing would be to put her out of her misery. First we baptized her and give her the name Mary, cause that was the most holy and innocent name either of us knew. Billy Joe's folks is Roman Catholic, and he reckoned anybody could baptize a baby. Didn't have to be no preacher. It made him feel bit better, and I didn't argue. When we'd done that, we took her to the middle of the Tallahatchie Bridge and put her in one of them brown net onion bags that don't rot, and tied a big rock to it. We said a prayer. Then we held her out over the railing and let go the bag. She fell real slow. Must have been 10 seconds before she hit the water. Went under straight away. Did suffer. Just like Stenny's runt pop. After it was done, Billy Joe just stood there. I couldn't get him away from them railings. He still had the hunting knife, and he got it out and piked up a bit of stick from the ground and started whittling. He just went on and on whittling it into a point, sharper and sharper, and he wouldn't say nothing. In fact, I don't think he said a single word to me after that, or like as not anybody else either. Billy Joe just stood there whittling and looking into the water, all that way doon. Next I heard he'd jumped over and done himself, and you know all the rest. I've had nightmares ever since that day. Being scared to close my eyes at night cause of what I'm going to dream. Guess it must have been even worse for Billy Joe. Weren't no way Billy Joe could have brought up that child, even if she'd been normal. His pop would have found out pretty soon, and it all would have come out, and like as not that a killed Billy Joe. Either his pop or the neighbor folks up there weren't like it was a normal child. A child born out of a brother and a sister is an abomination. It says so in the Bible, I think. Wouldn't have lived anyhow. All we done was put it out of its misery. That was what I's to Billy Joe. And what I's to myself too. But I know right well it weren't true. Mary McAllister was a human being with a soul same as you or me. What we done was murder, cold-blooded. So now you know why this family has had a course ever since that day. The Lord is angry with me, and he has a right to be angry. Has waiting for me to one up to what I done and to pay the price. I've got to meet my maker and give an account of my life, and then I tell all be over and you and Ned and Becky can get on with your lives and there won't be no curse. Things'll be just fine again. So now I've got to make my last journey to the Tallahatchie Bridge. Don't worry none about me, Ma. It can't be any worse on the other side than what it is on this side. And God is all merciful. Even Judas Iscariot got forgiven according to Brother Taylor. Say a prayer. For me, Ma, it's not so bad. In just a half an hour or so I'm going to be out of my misery, like Stenny's pup, and Mary and Charlene and Billy Joe. Oh, just ask one thing. This here letter is a family matter. I don't want nobody else to read it but you, and neither would Billy Joe or Charlene. And when you've read it, I want you to burn it. Please don't let me down, Ma. Goodbye, Ma. Throw a few flowers over the railing of the Tallahatchie Bridge for us now and then. Ain't much that's bountiful and innocent in this world except flowers.